Hey, it's Heather Dunlop with Thriving Woman. And today, what I want to talk with you about is 3 ways to help you overcome shame. So, I know that you and I are both people who've experienced sexual assault or domestic violence in our life. And what comes with that typically is shame and the feeling that we did something wrong. And that carrying of that shame is going to impact so many things that we choose to do in our lives. So, what I want to share with you today are 3 tips on how you can overcome that shame so that you no longer feel shame because you absolutely should not. You did nothing wrong. This is an experience that you managed to live through, and it's something that happened to you. So, the shame is not yours to carry. So, the very first thing I want to share with you is that just that you no longer have to believe that it's your shame to carry. You see, we get these beliefs deep down inside us, and they come typically from people who are around us or just society in general. Like it's kind of known that women who experience sexual assault carry shame as a result of that because of what was done to them. And here's the thing, I don't think you should ever feel shame for what was done to you because you weren't the one who was doing it. You weren't the one who was committing that offense. You were not the abuser. You happen to be the one on the receiving end of their terrible actions. So instead of you carrying the shame, it's not yours to carry. And we need to adjust and develop beliefs where it's okay for us to be who we are and not to carry shame. We need to carry the belief that it is not our shame to carry. It's not our responsibility. It's not our burden to carry for what was done to us. Okay. So stop believing that it's your shame to carry. And how do you do that? We can talk about that when we go deeper. There's a number of ways for us to address those deep, deep beliefs that are set in your subconscious mind, making you feel like you need to carry this shame, even though logically you understand that you don't. So just work on believing that it's not your shame to carry because you didn't commit the offense. The second thing I want to ask you is, what would you do if you didn't feel shame? What would you do if you did not feel shame for what was done to you? What would your life be like? How would you carry yourself differently? Would you feel joyful? Would you feel free to just be you and live who you are and not feel like you've got to carry around this secret shame, right? And not to address things like, oh my gosh, is it okay if I say hello? Do you mind if you have a minute? And you just walk in and say, hey, you know what? And you enter the room like the great person that you know you are, so you carry your charisma into that room because you know you're a gift to be there. And it's not only your privilege to get to know these people, but it's also their privilege to actually get to know you, the real you, not the one who is hiding behind the shame and afraid that somebody might find out. Because here's the thing, when they find out, the right people support you. The wrong people will not and want you to carry that shame. The right people will support you. Okay. So think about would you do? What would your life be like if you no longer felt shamed about what was done to you? And you just had the freedom to be who you are, to live fully, to live joyfully, to go for what you want in life. What would your life be like? How much different would it be 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, continuing to live as the person who does not feel shame because it's not your shame to carry? So think about that. What would your life be like if you didn't feel shame? And the third thing we want to do, work on clearing the blocks. Because if you're carrying shame and you have this deep underlying belief that you should feel shame for what was done to you, it's going to stop you in so many ways. It's going to stop you in ways you don't even recognize. Because when you're in that feeling, you don't necessarily recognize when you're not in that feeling, when you're in a better place, because you don't quite yet know how that better place feels because you haven't lived there yet. And the subconscious mind does some crazy things sometimes. It's one of the most powerful things, and it can work very well and work for us when we have the right beliefs and the beliefs that help us get to that goal of living a happy, joyful life. But when there's beliefs like you must feel shame for what was done to you, there's a block that's going to stop you from getting over to the other side, to living that joyful life, because your subconscious mind always wants you to return to what it considers safe and familiar is safe. So if you've been, living for quite a while carrying the shame, your subconscious mind says it's safe for me to live here because your subconscious mind doesn't think that change is safe. And what you need to do is work on those deep underlying beliefs to remove the one that says, I must feel shame, and then to instill beliefs that it's okay for me to go out and be who I am. To instill the belief that the shame is not yours to carry. That's a huge one. It's not your burden to carry. So let's get together and work on those deep beliefs. Let's clear those blocks. And it starts with no longer believing that it's your shame to carry. So when we get down and we work on it together to create these new beliefs and these new automated pathways that you are living free of shame, you no longer carry that burden, your life is going to completely change. It's absolutely going to change, and you can do it. So here's the 3 things to do. 1, change your beliefs so that your belief says, the shame is not mine to carry. It's not my burden. I am free to live without shame. Second one, ask yourself and constantly remind yourself about what you would do, you would feel, how you would live your life if you didn't feel shame. How much joy would you have in your life if you didn't feel shame? How easy would it be to take a step forward and go for what you want, to introduce yourself to someone new and say, hey, this is who I am. Hey, it's me, Heather. Great to meet you, and you start to get interested in them instead of worrying about trying to keep the secret and feeling the shame and hiding. And you just get out there and be. And then third, clear the blocks. Clear that block, that big, huge one of shame that comes up every time you go do something and says, no, you're not allowed to be in the spotlight. No, you can't do that because you're supposed to feel shame. You're not allowed to feel good in this situation because you should feel the burden of what was done to you. No, let's clear those blocks. Let's remove them so that when you go to do something, your beliefs say, yes, you can do this. Yes, you're worthy. Yes, you get to do what you choose to do, and you get to feel joy and happiness in your life. So if this is resonating with you and you want to take it a level deeper, I'm going to put a link below for a link to get on my calendar, schedule a quick 15-minute call, and let's take this a level deeper. And let's talk about how we can clear those blocks and instill the new beliefs that get you to live a life that is free from shame, free from guilt, free from carrying that burden, and you can start to live the life that you choose to live. So click on the link below, hop on my calendar, and let's talk about it. This is Heather. Have a great day. And always remember, you have strength within you.